Double mute. Double mute. Sorry about that. Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Happy Monday. Right, Joy-Con, what's up, dude? USMC Chick, hello, hello. Pictonius, Satant, hey, guys. Yep, sorry about the mic thing. I clearly double muted myself and wasn't paying attention to it. But how is everybody doing? Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a good start to your week. I hope you guys had a good weekend. How is everybody doing? I got a kitty right here who's excited to hang out. Better than unmute Effa. Yeah. It's because I have two mute buttons. I technically have two mute buttons. Tired, dude. Me too. Yeah. So today, I'm gonna be real. I don't really know exactly what we're doing today. There's a couple things I would like to do, right? However, I don't fully know what that is yet. So yeah, we're gonna be bouncing around on a couple different things. I'm gonna first update my flake update, and let's see if we can just get like the latest versions of stuff from Nix. Let's update the dev environment at least. Yo, wannabe, how's it going? Hello. All right. Cool. I'm actually gonna do Niv after that. All right. Yeah, we're good now, Steffi. We're good now. We added that extra node. Test. There we go. Oh man. So right now, chat, I'm just updating my dev environment. This is how you update packages and stuff with Nix. You basically just tell the flake to update all of its inputs and then rebuild everything. And so that's what we're doing right now. I forgot my light. There we go. But yeah, I'm just updating my dev environment right now. And checking on some stuff. Oh, you know what? I just realized I gotta grab my laptop, my work laptop, and update the team.
Hello there.
All right, there we go. What monitor is to program that? It's called bottom. BTM. It's called bottom. I gotta stop advertising for Starbucks. And I just got foam all over my face. Dang it, today's a day, chat.
Hello there.
Today's a day. I see, universe. Today you feel like with me today, huh? I got your number, universe. Yo, what up, Melky? What's going on, buddy? How's it going? Melky, listen, by the way, I want to say I love you, for starters, although you know that. Secondly, I swear to God, I'm trying to help you as much as I can with this OAuth shit, dog. I'm just so confused on what you're trying to do. I don't want you to think I'm not trying to help you or anything like that. I know we talked about it yesterday. After you messaged me your question and I responded to it, I was like, man, that sounded right, but like, am I understanding what he wants, right? So I hope that at least went well with you. At least that conversation you were having. Yeah, sorry. Sorry if this has been asked a million times. Are you using NixOS or just the Nix? I use NixOS. Yeah, I'm using the actual. Oh crap! Hang on, cat's got a hairball. Sorry guys. Yeah, today really is a cat cam day. So I don't know if any of you guys are cat owners. I am. I have obviously one boy here, another boy in the kitchen. One of my boys, Alphon or Edward, he gets hairballs. I mean, like most cats do. However, what was I gonna say? They don't like actually. It's not that bad to where like they actually like regurgitate a lot of gross stuff, thankfully, because of the food we give them and stuff like that. However, they still have to go through the like hacking and coughing, and so I don't like them to be alone when that happens, or at least I like to try and at least be next to them, try and calm them. Like, it's okay, don't worry. Because it's a pretty, for being sweet little boys, it's a pretty violent, so that's whenever they do that, I kind of, you'll see me just like, if you were to ever be in my house chat while a cat starts like essentially dealing with a hairball, you'll just see me burst out of my office and like run over to them and like be like, it's okay. I mean, it's scary, dude, because like they cough and they just stop breathing, and I'm talking about you, and it just, you just kind of go like you're okay, right? Like, come on, you keep going, you're good. So I think that's also part why is I want to make sure that they just don't like fucking flop over. Yo, Rad, how's it going, buddy? Hello. Good day, top driver. How's it going? Hello. How are you? NixOS is the new compiling. I agree. NixOS rebuild is the new compiling. I mean, look at, dude, there are so many packages being built and tested. Like, it's actually insane the amount of packages that are being downloaded from the internet right now. And not in the sense that they're being downloaded from the internet themselves, but dude, every single one of these things that is being downloaded is an evaluation of a build. Remember, that's how Nix works. So like, not only, am I gonna have Python, but like I'm literally fetching the source code and I'm building it all. And so again, that's what's actually pretty crazy when you think about it, is like, if this builds successfully, I probably built like hundreds of thousands of packages, all on the same machine and all successful. So Nix is crazy, man. Reproducibility. Now, I definitely figured it out. My FE partner confused the... Oh, okay, good. Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. They were confusing me too. I read it and I was like, what? I don't understand what this means. That is so adorable. I do it more out of my own anxiety. But I appreciate that. They are my boys. I have jokingly said that, like, when my cats go, I'm gonna go with them. I'm just gonna bury myself with my cats and be like, you know what? It was a good life. I think I'll just go with them. I'm kidding. Yeah, my new kitten is the same way. Never throws up and hacks a lot. Yeah, it's scary, dude. It's scary. It definitely scares me a little bit from time to time, especially because it can get bad. It can get pretty bad. But we just switched them to like this new like really expensive. So okay, I don't know how about you guys are with your pets. I'm very, very particular with my boys. I will gladly spend the 2 to 4 times the amount equivalent of what I would spend on myself, in the sense of like, obviously I'm not spending that much on them, but what I'm saying is like comparative to a human, what they get like, oh my God, they're so spoiled. They have a fountain. They have a fountain that is, purifying. They have a purifying fountain. They have like ridiculous, I can't even remember the food that we just recently got them, but it's like really, really good. It's supposed to be really, really good. They're spoiled. Yeah, Dr. Elsie's cat food. That's what we get, Dr. Elsie's. But yeah. Anyways, that's enough about my cats. I'm sorry, I could talk about them forever. Hello. What's happening? Right now, I'm waiting for NixOS to build all of the packages required for my operating system while also installing them. And if you'll notice, actually, look at this. So here's what's kind of neat too, chat. Look at this. You're going to see that we have 2,500 megabytes to download, and then you're going to see copied. That's because all of this is compressed. So technically, we're downloading 2.5 gigs of data, right? But we're actually uncompressing 11 gigs of data, right? To also show you like compression, right? And the super value here. Like, what's super nice about this is like, essentially, we're just downloading, again, the source code, the bare bones source code, and then as efficiently as we can, because it's highly compressed, right? And then we're just uncompressing it on our computer. So yeah, it's an interesting process how all this works. And again, it's building everything. Like Elixir's, oh God, Elixir's gonna take so long to build, chat. We might be here for a second. Does someone here know a good cheap keyboard that is all around and does the job? Define cheap. Like what is cheap to you? Because I'm not gonna lie, cheap is different to everybody. Can you give me like an actual price range? Keycrons are good. Yeah, I agree with that. Keycrons in general, like, is just a good manufacturer. I have a Keychron actually. It's funny that you say that. I have a Keychron too. This is a pretty good keyboard, actually. This one right here. This is the Keychron K7. It's not the K2, but it's the K7. It's a pretty nice keyboard. I like it. I have 2 of them. Oh, nice. I mean, to be fair, within experience, the Keychron is going to give you a mechanical key. Like, Keychron, I believe... oh, it doesn't have to be mechanical. Oh. Okay. I mean, if that's the case, just go get like a... I don't know. Yeah, like a Microsoft keyboard or something. Just, you know. Like, yeah, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you really don't care, just go spend, you know... I wouldn't spend money on it. I wouldn't spend more than like $30 on it, honestly. If you don't care. If you really care, it's like 50 and above. Keyboards are cheap. You can get a cheap keyboard, like, no problem. It's not that big of a deal. Wired Mini 7 ergonomic with... Ooh, what is this? Whoa. What is this thing? That is crazy. I mean, there you go. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. It gives you split, too, which is nice. Although I will say this diagram doesn't do a good job of making ergonomics look good. It looks like their wrists are fucking broken. I don't like the way this is. It probably would have been better just to put real person's hands here. I think it's funny that, like, does this not just look like their wrists are mangled and destroyed? Yeah, it looks like a cool keyboard. Yeah, the image is a bit weird. Yeah, I agree. Do you have a name for notes collection? Do you have a name idea for a notes? Do you have a name idea for a notes collection for Obsidian? I would just call it notes. As terrible as it sounds, I like to call things what they are because then people know what it is when they try and use it. I would just call it Obsidian Notes, but I don't know. That's just me. I'm a very simplistic kind of guy. Yo, Delvoid, what's up, man? How's it going? Oh, let me do some shout outs, by the way. Okay, I got to do 2 shout outs. All right. First one I got to shout out is Melky. If you guys do not know the wonderful Melky Dev, be sure to check him out. He's fantastic. So just wonderful, wonderful person. As well as a great intellectual as well. And then I also want to give a shout out to Delvoid, who's just been wonderful with the supporting of us lately, as well as the rest of the community. Although I have to wait a second, Delvoid, apparently. Dang it, why does that? It's because it... Yeah, okay, hold on. I'll do the other shout-out in a second. And we're just still waiting for building. Actually, we're still downloading right now, technically. Do you have any advice on where to start with DevOps? Yeah, a different career. No, I'm kidding. What I actually mean, though, is well, there's kind of truth to that. I didn't start in DevOps. I started as a front-end engineer. I worked my way into back-end, and then I worked my way to full stack. Do I think that that's the only route to DevOps? No, not necessarily. However, you're kind of trying to specialize like right away. You know what I mean? DevOps is a specialization, I think. I don't know if it's just like a general like engineering job. I think it is kind of considered, or it should be at least considered, more of like a specialization role. Because of the requirements, it really does have around it. And you know, until we like redefine DevOps more and more and give better meaning to it, I think it's going to stay that way, which is fine. I don't mind it. However, it does I'm gonna be real, and I've said this before. I don't know if you could just get into DevOps in a few years. DevOps is marketing. It depends on what side you're looking at it from. If you're looking at it from a technology side, sure. Like, hey, I'm trying to sell this product. It's DevOpsy. Woo! Yeah, I get that. Like, that's totally fair. I can't argue that one. From a hiring perspective, I wouldn't say it's marketing as much as the people just don't know what the they're looking for. I think that's really a part of it. Oh, let me shout out Delvoid now. And of course, be sure to follow Delvoid now that I can shout them out too.
Hello there.
I believe did we? Okay, so here's what's weird is I don't think that header works because I swear to God, we've already tried following you. I do follow Delvoid. Sweet. Good. Well, more of you can too. But me as a junior software front end engineer have to know basic DevOps like CI/CD. Why? Why do you have to know that?
Hello there.
Why do you have to know that? It's platform engineering now, yeah. Dude, they call it so many things. I know one place calls it production engineering. I know another place calls it DevOps. I know another place calls it platform engineering. We actually have a platform team at Hippo, so we can't really call it platform engineering because that's actually something else. Yeah. I think knowing DevOps is essential as a developer. I don't know, man. I used to feel that way. I really used to feel that way. I think okay. Are you ready to? Okay, here's my hot take on DevOps as it stands right now in the industry. DevOps is not defined by your position, like your title, right? It is defined by the problems at the company. Yeah. Yep. So I can't say a path to it because honestly, one of the things that makes DevOps really tough right now is I guarantee you most of the people in chat who do potentially work in DevOps have a very different experience. We all do, probably. And I would say higher up you go, that experience hopefully gets more similar because there are like similarities. But like if you're at a startup, like a brand new startup and you're in DevOps, like that might look incredibly different than a company that's got like, tons of assets and other things, like engineers and stuff like that as well. You know what I mean? Like to go back to the argument of do you need DevOps as a front-end engineer? Not at a big company. Not really. I mean, to be honest with you, no, you really don't. At a big company, they really separate their concerns in a way that makes it so that, front-end particularly normally just focuses on front-end stuff. Backend focuses on backend and DevOps takes care of infrastructure. You don't really want that bleed. You really don't, right? And to be honest with you, you don't because it's just a matter of how many concerns are you giving your developers, right? And so like I don't disagree. Like, does it make you a better holistic engineer to know more about DevOps? Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm just gonna say that you're just gonna technically know more though. You know what I mean? In general. So yeah, like the experience of DevOps right now is actually massively varied between what company you work at. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. Sorry. The stupid bug is still happening and I don't know why it's happening. Discord the best. Sorry, what are we talking about? Black Glasses. Yes, that is my name. Hello. NixOS, what is the process at the bottom? It is actually called bottom. Just exclamation mark BTM in chat. So yeah, like in all seriousness, I have tried defining DevOps throughout the many different companies that I've worked at, and they've all been differently defined because of the company's requirements. The reality of it is most of the times DevOps is used as a band-aid at a company. When you have good organizational structure, then DevOps is actually used efficiently. However, yeah, and that's where the blurred lines come of like marketing and like what does it mean and blah blah blah. Like it's really all because it's about the company more than the actual term. People see DevOps makes big money, so they say I want to be that, but it's not just one job. It's not. No, it's definitely not. It's a lot of things. Well, maybe some things wrong on my team. We don't have a DevOps engineer, literally. That's good. I think that's awesome. I'm not saying that's bad. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying like that also depends on your organization if you're going to make that a requirement of your engineers or not. You know what I mean? I think that's more of what I'm trying to say, right? It's an organizational decision to say like, okay, how much is front end going to focus on front end? How much is back end going to focus on back end? You see what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? All right. So one of the things I do want to do now that I've got like my system back. Oh, see, it's still doing this. I don't know why it's doing this, chat. This is a recent update. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It's so weird. Yo, gas oil. Hello. What is up? It varies. It does. We have a dedicated platform engineering team where I work, but as a back-end dev who's on call, we have to know a lot of what they know. Feels odd sometimes. I would imagine. I would imagine. Yeah, I would definitely imagine. We're talking about DevOps right now. Gas oil. Yeah, we're just talking about DevOps right now. How to get into it. So again, going back to like, how do you get into DevOps? You know, hey, honestly, just get a position working in some type of engineering role. Have some time under your belt. Like, you might need like a year or two maybe, but that honestly might be enough to go to a small company that doesn't really have DevOps well defined and could easily give you an opportunity to define it. I've definitely done that for sure before. It doesn't mean you can't, you know what I mean? How do you guys get it? How do you get into DevOps, right? Yeah, exactly. Just know YAML. So if you guys don't know, there is a project that we maintain called LSP Containers. And LSP Containers is basically a Neovim plugin. It's an open source Neovim plugin. It allows you to run your LSP servers or your language servers basically in containers for you. And this is something we manage and something that I still want to keep going. There's a lot of stuff here that's just kind of been like sitting around for a while that I kind of want to clean up. Oh gosh, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of getting to a point where like I don't know how easily I can reproduce the incredibly weird setup that they've got. So I kind of want to go through our issues, and we're going to start with Docker files actually. And I just want to see like, what do we currently have? So, okay, won't start to incompatible platform. Okay, so more information. This is due to I'm not using Kalima. It seems to be working. Yes, awesome. I was suspecting this may have been related to the M1 and can be an issue when on this archetype. I'll create a ticket as a follow-up to see how, I guess, we could provide images for multiple architectures. Okay, I'm just going to completely give up on trying to spell that word and lean on autocorrect for that one. And I'm going to say architect. Sure. Oh, there we go. I missed the C. Okay, listen. I actually had that one. I just missed the C. All right. Awesome. I was suspecting this may have been related to M1 and can be an issue when on this architecture. I'll create a ticket as a follow-up to see how we could provide images for multiple architectures. We just haven't run across this yet. And I'm going to say thank you for reporting it. And I'm going to close this now. All right. So we're going to close that. And then I'm going to grab 86. It's issue 86. This is part of open source project management, chat. Oh my gosh. Support multi-arc builds. Problem. We have found that some users rely on M1 and other non-Intel processors for running LSP containers. Did I spell incompatible wrong? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, we could just say incompatible. I mean, we really, the reason why I say non-Intel is because the only thing we build for right now is x86 64. So it technically is anything that's not Intel. But yeah, we say incompatible to widen the scope. We have found that some users rely on M1 and other incompatible processors for running LSP containers, as mentioned in burp. There are other possible workarounds. However, there we go. We would much rather natively support the ARC. Cool. All right. So this is going to be a label. This is going to be I guess this is like an enhancement. It's kind of a bug, right? It's kind of a bug, but it's also kind of an enhancement. Support multi-arch builds around. Yeah, cool. All right. So that looks good. We got a new ticket. I'm not really worried about that. This is like stuff that, like, these two here, these are ones that like I'm messing with. And as a matter of fact, if we want to I'm not going to pin it. Actually, there's no need to pin it. Go PLS cannot run because it uses a custom user. So I'm like 99% sure. Just want to follow up on this before closing. We are getting reports. This should be working now. So I will leave this open a bit longer before closing. Just want to follow up on this. Here we go. We are getting reports. This should be working now. There we go. So I will leave this open for a bit longer before closing. All right. So 15 days ago I asked, but we are. So quick question here. Can you give me a 1 in chat if you use Neovim? Can you give me a 1 in chat if you use Neovim? I'm not going to like make a poll. It's just going to take too long to do it. 1. Okay. We got 1 person. Okay, 3 people. Anybody who does not actually say 1, I'm just not gonna believe you. Okay. So 0.5, slowly working toward. Okay, I see. Okay. No worries. I got you there. I have Neovim installed. Okay. For you guys who use Neovim, how do you install your language servers right now? Like if you want to support for a specific, like, do you guys even mess with language servers? How many of you guys have actually tried like setting up LSP config and all that stuff? I tried it a couple times now. Okay. Does it work? LSP install? I mean, that's one of them. I'm just asking you guys what you've done. That is one of them. Yes. With your Nix configuration. Okay, that doesn't count. That doesn't count if you're using my exact configuration. I have a .files repo with installer scripts which pulls the servers down and updates them. Okay. All right. So we're all kind of on the same page here. All right. So I'm going to show you guys LSP containers because if I can, I would definitely at least be interested in seeing if some of you guys would like to try it. Now, again, we have a lot of people who use it. I just don't know if anybody is here right now who use it. So to give you an idea of how LSP containers works, it's actually very, very, very simple. I've seen some of you talk about LSP config and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, that is like the backbone of how LSP containers is LSP, or how LSP containers works is LSP config. And so what that means is like, if you were to go to LSP config, right? Their main repo here, is GitHub not working? Did GitHub just like stop? GitHub, are you alive? Hello, GitHub? Hello? Okay, well that responded. Oh, okay. It's just like seriously hung. Anyways, there we go. All right, so if you go to this repository here, right? This is a very common way of getting started with it's down. Oh, it was okay. It wasn't just me. Cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, so they show you a pretty decent example of how to get started with LSP config. And like this is, now again, I don't know if this is the most up-to-date way of doing it. This is just the way that we support language servers in LSP containers. Yo, Jen, hey, how's it going? Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. I caught your follow really quickly there, so I appreciate the follow before the raid. Welcome everybody. Welcome from Jen's stream. Hello. How are you guys? Let me give a shout out to Jen. How was your stream though? I hope it was a good one. Welcome Raiders. I use LSP containers for some time, but I'm moving away from it mainly because Docker is a pain. That's fine. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Again, I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm just saying like, you know, I don't even technically use it. Although I will probably be using it again once we get our Nix support in place. But all I'm trying to say, and welcome everybody from Jen's stream. Hello. If you guys are just tuning in, I am BG. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Alta 4 stream. Thank you for being here. I'm a DevOps engineer. I've been doing this for a little while now. I've also been an engineer for the past 10 years. Basically, I'm a massive nerd with no life. And so today, we're working on a few different things. We're kind of just bouncing around just because I have a bit of a shorter stream today. But we work on a project called LSP Containers, and it's an open source project that is a plugin basically for a editor called Neovim. And so just as you wonderful people just joined us, I started going over how it works. And so this is basically that. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. However, if you were to start with LSP config with Neovim, you'd probably have like Packer, right? Something like this. And this is like a common package manager with Neovim to get plugins installed. And so you'll see like, all right, install packer.nvim and then get nvim lsp config installed, right? And then after this, they say like, okay, well, if you want to actually get language servers working, then you would just install your language server manually somehow, right? Pyrite, whatever. And then you add the language server to your init.lua. So you say require lsp config pyrite setup, and then you launch Neovim with that specific, that specific file, and then you could see, or then it should basically start running. And so to give an example of that, if I was to go to like dot files, right? And then say, for example, I was to go to like a Lua file, right? And then I was to open this Lua file, I should actually have some Nico Lua running, although right now it might not be because I think it looks like I might need to reinstall my tree sitter stuff. Hang on 1 second. Where are you? There you are. Share nvim site. Yep. We gotta, I don't know why this does this. I think it's because it's Nix, and Nix just is very atomic with its stuff. All right, there we go. Now my editor looks fine. Cool. Okay. So let's go back to dot files, nvim, Lua, right? And then lsp info like it suggests. lsp info. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay. So you see here, I have a language client log, right? nvim lsp log, language detected file type, Lua, right? Client, some Nico Lua, file types Lua, auto start. And then you'll actually see the root directory that I'm currently in where that file exists, and then the command that is run to starting the language server, right? And you'll notice that I have like a bunch of language servers configured here. This, if you've ever worked in VS Code or anything like that, this comes out of the box free for you. So I don't want you guys to think that like this is just a Neovim specific thing. It's absolutely not. This is having language servers as a part of your editor as a way to enrich your development experience is super common across like pretty much every main programming editor, at least. Neovim, however, is very, very focused on letting you set up and kind of develop the way you want to, right? Set up your own environment. And so because of that, chat, essentially what it does is it says like, will you install the language servers that you want for the specific languages that you're going to be working with? So by default, it doesn't support any of them. And so basically what LSP config will do is it will bridge the gap between the actual language server that gets installed and the editor, right? And it does that by doing this literal one-liner here, right? Like basically this one-liner is all you need, plus installing the language server to getting to where, you can have LSP or LS language server support in Neovim. Cool? Okay, cool. So we've covered that, right? So when we think about that process, and I'm going to go to Lucid chart because we actually have a pretty sweet chart I can show you guys on this. If we go to Lucid chart, right? The way that oh, come on, bruh. Are you serious? Are we still doing this? Is this still a thing? Oh. All right. For some reason, Lucid charts keeps destroying the browser in my VM. So I'm just going to log on my outside of the VM. So just give me 1 second. Sorry. Whoa. That's not the email address. What the fudge? What is that nonsense? Come on now. Let's take a step back. There we go. Jeez Louise, what was that? Absolute not. Are you kidding me right now, Lucid Charts? What is this terrible freaking auto completion? Oh, I hate it when companies do this, dude. I hate it when they give you the login email first and then they make you click next and then you have to like put in the password, but then like your stupid password manager doesn't know how to put the password into the second field because the second field didn't exist before. And so it just puts it directly in the name field. And then you just got your password sitting there in the friggin' name field. Ugh, I hate that. Sorry. Gotcha. Okay, so here. Cool. All right, there we go. We're good now. Whoa, what the I swear technology's against me today, chat. Either that or just the universe in general is just like, yo, you know what? Yeah, we're just messing with BG today. I think that's what it is. I think the universe is just out to get me today. Anywho, Why are you going in the inverse direction of which I drag you? What is this? Okay, what is this? Okay, whatever. Anyways, all right. So here's basically what I just shared with you guys in a sweet flow chart. All right. So here's Neovim. Although it's not a Nix flake, we're just going to get rid of that, right? So here's Neovim, and here's your source code, right? When you open up Neovim as an editor, and then you open up one of your source code, right? What's going to happen is that plugin, in this case, it's actually going to be LSP config, right? LSP config is immediately going to say, oh, I see that you've got a TypeScript file. Cool. I'm going to start a language server client. And that's what I just showed you, right? When I opened up Neovim and I did the LSP info thing, that was the language server client for Lua, right? What happens in a non-LSP container scenario is this language server client just fires the Lua process directly on your computer, right? So this is the separation between LSP containers and just normal, LSP install or something like that. The language servers don't actually exist on your computer permanently. Okay. What happens with LSP containers, because we use Docker and Podman or whatever else you want to use, basically, when you start the language server client, you don't have to install it. What's going to happen is it's going to actually use Docker to start that container. And when it does, if it doesn't exist on your computer, it's going to go out and download it for you. And this is the equivalent of like that LSP install, where basically when you open up Neovim and you don't have a language server that you should have, it just goes, oh, let me start the container. And Docker goes, or again, Podman, whatever, goes, oh, well, I must need this. I don't have it. I'm going to go ahead and download it real quick. And then once it has its download, it doesn't have to download it again. So that is essentially the purpose of LSP containers. It's just the very, very, very simple idea of using containers to avoid the LSP install thing, right? Yeah, what's up, batch file? How's it going, buddy? But yeah, so that's basically the main idea is that Neovim will start containers with language servers, and if those images don't exist, it just pulls them down naturally. So what does that look like, right? Like, what does that actually look like? Well, you have to have this part done, right? You have to have some type of way of installing packages, and you have to actually have LSP config installed as well, right? But once you have this, we actually make it really easy for you to hook into that. And so the way that you actually do that is once you have LSP config installed, you then install LSP containers. And you'll see here that with Packer, for example, right, use LSP config, use LSP containers. Once you have that, you set up the language of your choice in their supported LSPs, just like I just showed you. So then you'd say, all right, let me install Pyrite, and then let me add the language server setup. Now, at this point, LSP containers is not done. This is just the LSP config side of stuff. However, what you then do is then you find the language that you want to work with, supported LSPs. We have a bunch of them, right? So for example, if I wanted to support Rust, right, I just click on Rust. And what you're going to notice is it's actually very, very, very simple, because what we're doing is we're taking the LSP config command and we're just overriding the command with LSP containers. That is how simple LSP containers hooks into LSP config, right? Because all we really care about is overriding the command that LSP config runs when starting your language server, right? And so what you do in the case of wanting Rust is you do your normal setup, and then you just override the command with the command Rust analyzer. And if you want to make it even easier, what you'll notice is the name matches the name of the LSP. So we made this to where you can even just do like a for loop technically, and then just pass in, a list of all of your language servers, and then that would be iterated through, here as well as here. And so yeah, these two are technically meant to match. So for example, SolarGraph, some Nico Lua. And so once you do that, at that point, you're powered by LSP containers. Like that's it. It really is that simple. Now there's a few of them where like we have to do some overrides. So we do show you in the circumstances of like we've found really weird scenarios because of the containers and stuff like that. But we also, again, we give you examples for all of these. So yeah, so that's really the main point behind it, is it's just really to avoid the LSP install part. And there's a few niceties about it, right? These are now prepackaged images that are also tested, right? So they should be working, at least for the most part. They're also re-downloadable. So for example, if you want to just like clean up a whole bunch of space on your computer, you can prune all the images that you need and then just re-download the ones that you only want to move forward with. So it's very like lazy loading in that regard, which is super nice. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions, by the way, about LSP containers? Because that's, again, it's actually very simple. It's really not meant to be overly thought out. It's meant to just be something that can plug directly into LSP or Neovim and then just run the containers that you want, right? Okay, cool. So as I've just basically broken down the project that we are, you make it sound so easy at least. I mean, it's supposed to be, right? The main point of it is you simply, oh, and by the way, if you guys want to actually, here, I'm sorry, LSP containers. It's in chat. There you go. There's the link. Go check it out. The GitHub is the second thing. But yeah, go check it out. Like if you're, again, I wanted this to be seamless. I wanted the idea behind this to be like, okay, like you really just use LSP config and then you just have an override, right? Like, and that override is very simple. And again, that's really the goal. There's a lot of stuff I want to do with it as well. Like for example, one of the things that's pretty cool about it, here, let me do, Neo. Okay, so check this out, chat. I actually have a flake for LSP containers, which we use it with our wonderful Nix. So if you guys don't know what I'm doing right now, I'm actually going out and building a very, very specific version of Neovim that has LSP containers configuration baked into it. And so what that means is, for example, if I wanted to go, let's go to a Go repository. So I'm going to say language, Go, source, GitHub, and then we'll just go to like, actually here, let's just create a new one. Go init. Oh wait, no, Go, is it new? Wait, Go. How do you create new Go projects? File, example, Go. I don't want to go into any of these actually. Yes, control, or no, new directory, example, Go. There we go. Go mod init. There we go. Okay, so if I do touch main.go, right? And then I'm gonna start now. Again, if you use Nix, this should look very similar to you. Now, again, just to be clear, what's happening when I do Nix run, right? I'm going out to LSP containers right here on GitHub, and then I'm evaluating this flake because this flake has nvim LSP config as well as LSP containers baked into it, including a very basic init.lua with like a bunch of basic or a bunch of very simple configuration options, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run, instead of running my Neovim, right? Like this is my Neovim right here. Example, Go. Yeah. So this is my Neovim on the right. The one on the left is going to be the custom built one. And you see how that like immediately does that? Right? Cool. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to lazy Docker because I want to see Docker. And then I'm actually going to close that really quickly. Yeah, no, my bad. I'm going to open it. My bad. And then we're going to do main.go. When I do main.go, what's going to happen is it's going to open up my file, right? And then it's going to recognize that I don't have the image available. So if I do docker image ls, you're going to see I have no Docker images. And actually, if you notice here, no images, right? So what we're going to do is when I hit enter, you're going to see in real time how all of this works. Now, this is one of our biggest images. So I'm also showing you the delay and probably the most realistic time frame I could. Again, this is probably one of our most largest images, but it shows you, again, like the downtime or even if you have that. And again, you just do it once. You just download it once. Once it's downloaded, reopens and starts up fresh. And you can download them. You can download images beforehand as well if you want to. Anyway, so I'm going to hit enter, right? And now I have a file open. Now, right now, it seems like, yo, DS Legends, thank you for the 16 months, man. Thank you for the tier 1 16 months, brother. How are you? Hello. So right now, what's happening is Docker is going out and it's downloading the Go image, right? Oh, see it? There it is. Boom, there it is. And then you'll see unexpected. So I didn't touch anything. But did you see what just happened? So my editor had no language server auto completion whatsoever, right? Or no, I'm sorry, no language server support whatsoever until GoPLS finished downloading and then actually started running. And you can see now that it's actually running, I actually am getting a response. And so I can do like package, right? Main, right? And so now I actually have language server support, right? See that? See that? GoPLS requires a module at the root of your workspace. So yeah, it's working. So that's good to know. That's good to know that at least LSP containers is working. But that's the main idea, right? And so now if I do Docker image ls, right? Look at that, 962 megabyte LSP containers, GoPLS latest, right? And if I wanted to say like, all right, you know what? I don't need this anymore. Let's prune. Oh, there we go. And there we go. Now it's gone. And I got that space back. All right, so I think I've done a decent job explaining what LSP containers is now. Yo, Pan. Hello, not Pran, my bad. GoPLS cannot. Okay, so again, I think this one's fine. Oh, generally, I think the situation is sorry, I haven't had time to test it out properly. I moved to Sandbox, GoPLS via Bubble Wrap, which uses systems. So I haven't had if other reporters fix, I'm closing this. Generally, I think the situation is fragile because some people run Docker's root. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you at all. And I think trying to find the best middle ground is as close as we may be able to get. There is support for Nix in the near future, which eliminates containers entirely and may be a better option. Maybe a better option, or maybe a better solution, I guess would be a better way of saying it. I don't disagree with what they're saying at all. I think it's a super fragile situation. I don't disagree with you at all, and I think trying to find the best middle ground is as close as we may be able to get with these types of language servers. Anything made with VS Code language server framework seems to work effortlessly. However, when it requires the OS, etc., these mechanisms fall short. Yeah. Can you remove just one at a time instead of all of them? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just do Docker image remove. It's just Docker. Right? So for example, what I can do, let's do this. Bam. All right. And then let's do LS. There's actually an option to do LSP images pull. And, I don't have any language servers set up to pull. Okay, never mind. But if I did, it would actually pull all of them down. You have written language? That's fine. I got auto completion for that. I wasn't done. There we go. I still spelled that wrong. No, I didn't. There we go. Middle ground. I don't disagree with you at all. And I think trying to find the best middle ground is as close as we may be able to get with these types of language servers. Anything made with VS Code language seems to work effortlessly. However, when it requires the OS, these mechanisms fall short. There is support for Nix in the near future, which eliminates containers entirely and may be a better solution. Here is the existing PR. So this is a caveat basically because of containers. This is entirely a containers problem, and I'll explain it in a second once I link to this PR here, feature backend for Nix. Here we go. I don't disagree with y'all, and I think trying to find the best middle ground is as close as we may be able to get with these types of languages. Anything made with VS Code language server framework seems to work effortlessly. However, when it requires language, it seems to fall. There is support for Nix and other backends in the future, which eliminates containers entirely. Might be a better solution. Here's an existing PR.
Hello there.
Going to close this for now and we can keep iterating. Thank you. Would using Podman help? No. So this is simply a caveat to using containers to solving this problem. And that really sums it up here, right? Essentially what happens is when you run a container, you're running something in a completely isolated scope at that point when we talk about it from a processor standpoint, right? And I'll even break it down for you so that you guys can like get a better idea of what exactly I mean, all right? And we'll use the LSP containers thing as an example. All right, you gotta stop doing this to me, Firefox. Ugh. Oh my God, it kept my, oh, thank God for local storage. That would have almost been bad. What is the panel on the right bottom? There's no default user. What do you mean by default user? Do you mean just the user running the actual container? Because that would be the default user. Okay. All right. So let's talk about containers for a second here really quickly to give you guys a complete understanding of, honestly, even why LSP containers does what it does. Okay. All right. So let's make some stuff here, okay? So first off, I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of like, we need some boxes, right? Like this is really about like isolation. And so a good way of showing isolation is just like with groups and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So let's do this. Let's create a just a very simple group here. Okay. Whatever. Say this is a group. Say this is our wait, hold on. That's not going to work. Okay, generic group. Perfect. This will work perfectly. All right. Let's give this a little bit more pop, a little bit more pizzazz. Give it a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So this is going to be our host, right? Let's call this our host. This is the actual computer that everything runs on here. Let's just make this easier. We'll make this white so we can see this. There we go. So this is our physical host, right? Okay. So on this physical host, let's say that we have, the ability at any time to run a process, right? So let's go back here and let's say that we have the ability at any time to run a process. And let's say that it's, what's a process you run in a terminal commonly that like you would also containerize? Postgres, right? Well, let's say it's Postgres, PostgreSQL, all right? Say it's Postgres. Now, in the physical host scenario, when we run this process, it's going to be given a PID, right, of some sort. It's be like P1234, right? And that's the PID, right? And this is all viewable directly on the server or on the host itself, right? So PostgreSQL is connected to a PID, and that PID is then what's ran essentially on the physical host, right? And it has access to all the physical cores and all of that good stuff, right? However, with containers, right? And actually here, let's do one more thing here. Let's say that there's resources as well that like it needs to access, right? So I don't know, maybe like files here. We'll do that. Documents, sure. Right? And we'll say that this is data storage. And so PostgreSQL goes out to its data storage on the physical host, right? Oops. Come back here. There we go. Cool. Okay. So say we want to containerize this, right? And say we want to define what containerization means to even just these very simple parts that we have here, right? Well, for example, if I run, top, right, you're going to see all of my existing processes happening, right? Lazy Docker, Kitty, bottom, right? All of these things. This is on the host machine. So when we talk about running a process on the host level, that's what we're talking about here. We're just saying that this big group here can run as many processes as it possibly can. If I wanted to run another PostgreSQL, right, I'd get a whole new PID, right? And I'd have to make sure that like I didn't have conflicts of like ports and stuff like, and that's like another thing too, right? Is it wouldn't just be a PID that I would get. It would also be like if it was a database that had to do like, you know, ports, then I would also have some type of like port discovery. So like, you know, 5642. I think that's the port. If that's right, dude, I'm freaking awesome. But yeah, right. So we get some ports open, and again, this is pretty common when we talk about like starting a process on our machine. So again, if we wanted to run PostgreSQL twice, right? We're still in the same shared space. I can see this process here and this process here. 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then this needs to be on 4, 6, 5, 3, right? So, or 4, 3. So we have no, and this is you know, this may be like /data 1, right? And this may be like /data 2. At the bare bones, this is how processes look like when they run on your computer, right? Like this is really it. You want to make sure that you have a completely different PID. You want to make sure you have a completely different port, and you want to make sure that you have completely, and at least maybe this isn't always the case, but in some cases that you have completely different data paths, right? And so like this is how software has looked running on servers for quite some time. What we wanted to do was we wanted to achieve a couple of things, right? And LSP containers, again, leans on these heavily. We wanted to say, all right, well, one of the things we'd really like to be able to achieve is we'd like to make sure that PostgreSQL is portable, right? We don't want to make it so like it has to be installed on our computer and then we can just run the process over and over again. We really want to make it portable. So what does that mean? Well, it means that from just a design perspective, we have to box it in something. Right, we have to say like, okay,
hello there.
You are now your own unit, right? And now this is a PostgreSQL image, right? Per se, or whatever. Or we'll say PostgreSQL container, right? Not an image, but a container, right? And this container we want to isolate from other processes. We're not isolating it from the physical host, obviously, because it's still running on the same computer, right? But instead of just running PostgreSQL, what we want to do is we want to run it in a container where potentially PostgreSQL then has its own PID, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? However, there are some things that we can't necessarily do, and that's things like ports as well as potentially data. But we'll get to that in a second. With regards to the ports, and this is the main thing in like what powers containers when it comes to containerization, is this isolation of essentially telling the physical host, hey, when I run this container, right, I want this to be in a completely separate grouping of all of my other processes. These are essentially called C groups. As well as something else I can't remember. But anyways, the idea behind this is that when you start a container, from a host perspective, you're just starting a whole nother process, right? But from inside of the container, you're actually starting a process that is completely isolated from the rest of the physical host, right? And it's just the process. It doesn't mean that the data is always physically, or the data is always, you know, in the container or not. That's why like in one place we've got it on the host, whereas another place we've got it in the container. But in the basics, again, this is very, very simple. I'm not trying to go into super detail here. In the basics of what we're trying to explain here, when you run a container, it is its own isolated from within the process, at least. It doesn't see anything outside of it, right? And this then enables us to do other things like then say, okay, well, we want a series of processes or things to run in this container, or one, whatever. Normally it's one. Normally you just want to run process in a container. But this is now an isolation where we have our own users, right? We have our own, and this is even down to like a separate OS, right? This is where we can even say like, all right, even though the physical host runs Ubuntu, I'm going to run, you know, a PostgreSQL container with a completely separate OS, as long as the kernel supports it. That's a different, you know, it's something else we'll get into later. But the main TLDR is this is what makes it so you can even run separate operating systems, because all we're really caring about from a physical host standpoint is running the process, right? And as long as the physical host can support whatever needs to run inside of this container, it could be a separate operating system, it can be a separate process, it can be multiple processes, really doesn't matter. However, there are a couple of caveats to this, right? One of them being that, for example, you can have multiple processes running on the same machine, right? Well, what does that mean? In this scenario here, Postgres is always run by the same user, right? So for example, if I go back to my machine and we look at top, you're gonna see like a lot of stuff that was ran by root, right? Some of it was ran by me, so forth and so on. Because this is at the end of the day just us running processes, there are users. Ace, thank you so much for the 2 gifted subs, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wannabe Zizu, as well as they call me Jazco. Please be sure to thank your gifted subber, dude. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the continued support. We appreciate you. Thank you. And I hope this is making sense to people. And if you already know this, like, that's fine. Again, I'm just trying to break it down in simplest terms that I can for people who just might not fully understand how containers work, right? The main point of it is that when we run a process on your computer directly, right, without isolating it, essentially, it's going to run as the user you tell it, or your current user, right? It's going to run on the host just like any other, like, it just basically gets thrown into a pool, right? When you run it as a container, though, you basically say like, okay, now I've got like a cup in that pool with its own water, right? It's still in the pool, it's still taking space in the pool, but it's got its own water in it now. What does that mean? Well, it means that water has its own properties to it. And this is exactly what containerization looks like on a host. So the problem that we're running into is that on a physical host, there are users. You're a user. You've got admin users. You've got system users, all these other things. And they have IDs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. The problem that we run into, and this is a true general caveat to just running containers, is that when you run something in a container on the same physical host, the users for this container are not the same as on this physical host. Because we just said, well, it's a separate operating system, right? Well, that operating system must have separate users with their own permissions, their own file descriptors, right? Their own mappings. And so what is a real caveat here essentially is when we talk about permissions between these two, right, from the physical host to the container itself, we really become fragile, as Why Not Hugo is saying, right? Because not every user has the same ID. Not every user has the same permissions to things on their computer. And even though we can just run a process really, really well, right, in a separated, isolated container, we cannot really provide another thing, which I didn't even think about heavily, because I didn't know when I started LSP containers that it was even going to be a problem, but was around when language servers. So for example, if we were to say this is, Lua, right, LSP, and say this is Rust LSP, right? Well, when either of these LSPs need to talk to data on the physical host, they need to be able to access that data. They need to be able to write to that path. And then you need to be able to make it so that essentially anything in the Postgres container can now write to the physical host. And that becomes so much more of a difficult challenge. And this is basically what we've been trying to debug, is we've been trying to figure out how, when people run Docker as root or other things like that, right? The UID mappings may conflict, they may fail, right? And so this is really what he's saying is like, it's great that we have this option, but in these circumstances, right? If there are user permission issues, it's just never going to work, right? Because we're going to constantly have these bumping issues. I mean, if I run a Postgres without a container, let's say it's going to take 1 gig RAM. Does running no, a container, no. So that's one of the nice things about containers. Containers are very lightweight. there is a very minimal overhead with running virtual containers, because that's what they technically, like, containers are technically a set of virtualization. It's just not like virtualization in the sense of like VMs. You know what I mean? It's virtualization in the sense of like you're creating a virtualized, like a separate environment from your current one. It's, I know, it's a little different, but there are pieces to it that cause a bit of overhead. They would not consume anything past the normal process, I guess is what I mean to say. Does Podman have to be run as root for getting now? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't disagree with you at all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use Podman, to be honest. I really don't. I don't, like, I know it's neat. I just don't really use it. So yeah, that's like another thing is like, we need to kind of like wrangle LSP containers back and be like, okay, this is what it does support. This is what it doesn't, stuff like that. I don't agree with you all. I think trying to find the best middle as close as we may be able to get with these types of language servers. This is simply a caveat to using containers to solving this problem. Anything made with VS Code framework seems to work effortlessly. However, when it requires the OS, these mechanisms fall short. There is support for NICs and other backends in the future, which eliminates containers. For a solution, here's the PR. Going to close this amount, and we can keep iterating. Thank you. All right, cool. Yeah, I agree. Like, we need to figure out exactly how we can do that. Okay, is this still an issue? I don't know. I stopped using SolarGraph and container long ago. Basically, the project. See, the problem is these are really old issues. Like, look, this is from a year ago, November 16th, 2021. So, and this was like something like this person was really nice to share as well, is like, this is another one of those problems where basically the project and the LSP have to be in the same Ruby version. So this is crazy. Like, oh, wow. Okay. Thank you for the follow up on this. It seems like with Ruby, we may have, it seems like with Ruby and potentially other OSs or other languages, right? We may need to create multiple versions to support, right? Like maybe this would be another example would be Node.js with, LTS stable, etc. I will create a new ticket to investigate that further. Thank you for the help. Cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna close this one out as well. I'll figure it out myself. All right, so let's do this. Let's say 60, Docker file 60. So we're going to create another ticket, and we're going to say support multi-version languages, right? And so we'll say here, problem, some languages support multiple versions, right? So it'd be like stable, LTS, etc. That users may work with when developing applications. It would be good to support those variants for the given languages, right? And so the idea is like, if it's Rust, for example, like Rust has Rust and then it has Rust Nightly, right? Neovim, or no, it's not Neovim. Node has referenced here. There we go. Node has, LTS and like all these other things. So yeah, like I think that might be something we need to figure out. This is an enhancement. This is a bug. Proposal. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to call this a bug because right now we just really don't support anything else at the moment. So I'm going to remove this as a bug, and I'm just going to say that this is really an enhancement. That's what that is. Okay, add JSON net ls. Oh, I was working on this one. Jeez, dude, this was almost a year ago I worked on this. Holy crap. We started JSON net. I see. You know what though? I haven't. I'm closing. I'm closing this as I have discovered JSON net, whatever the hell it is. JSON net is terrible and would rather use something else. If we find we want to support this in the future, we can create a new ticket for it. However, this is not a priority for me. Yeah, JSON net is terrible, dude. I did not realize how bad JSON net was. Basically JSON net, if you don't know what it is it's kind of like JavaScript, or it's kind of like TypeScript to JavaScript, where it's like a superset essentially that allows you to not just use JSON primitives of like arrays, objects, strings, stuff like that, but then you can also create variables, conditionals, arithmetic, functions, imports. And so what you do is you say like, okay, like edit person one, right? Self person one named Bob, right? And then you get like welcome, right? Welcome. It's really meant to be like a templating language. And don't get me wrong, it's actually not that bad. It's just like, I don't know, dude. At that point, you might as well just write in an actual language. It's just like I guess the easiest way to put it is like, if you deal with a ton of JSON and you are required to work with JSON, right? Or like have a, what does it add? Not much. That's what I'm trying to tell you, dude. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you, is not much. It really doesn't add much. Yeah. Like it's kind of pointless. Again, unless you really use JSON net a lot, you know what I mean? Or JSON a lot. If you use JSON a lot, then it might be worthwhile to you. Perl, nice. This might be something good too, is just to start working on more proposed language servers. Rust Analyzer needs access to Rust up home. I believe we still need to solve. Yep, still unresolved. We should add a new property to LSP's function that returns additional volumes. Otherwise, each LSP with any volumes re-implements the whole builder function. Yeah, I agree with that too. Your snippet assumes the value for Rust should be... Okay, so let's take a look at this. Rust Analyzer attempts to access crates for the current project, which are usually stored in cache cargo. This should be mounted as a volume. Without this directory... This isn't my first LSP to require an additional volume for this kind of usage. I'm thinking of maybe adding an extra item to objects in supported languages tables, e.g. extra object. I see. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Here is what I'm going to do now that I fully understand this. Two things. I want to rewrite LSP containers now that I have the knowledge I do about Lua and how Lua and how these language servers can work. I honestly, I'm gonna be real. I think I want to rewrite LSP containers. I want to consider these types of problem at a higher level as suggested here. I think what I'm going to do is create a new V2 essentially issue with all of the features we would like to implement and improve upon. Then we start from scratch and make this even better. The original code was really a prototype that we have leaned on, but now that we want to support multiple backends, architectures, what is it? Backends. I can't spell architecture for some reason. Backends, architectures, volumes, etc. We need to solve these problems in better ways. In clearer ways, I would say. In clearer ways. I'm going to close this for now. So we can... Or actually, I don't know if I want to close this. Should I close this? I don't know if I want to. The original code was really a prototype that we have leaned on, but now we want to support multiple backends, architectures, volumes, etc. We need to solve these problems in clearer ways. So here's the question is, do we want to try and... Like, this is such a small project. I think we could honestly rewrite this thing in like a day. I really do. I will close this ticket for now with the for now and reference it in the new V2 issue to consider changes. Thank you all for your continued support with this project. It is one I want to keep going, but after looking at the past or at the decisions, or no, I don't want to say that. This is one I want to keep going, but think we have places we need to properly consider to better maintain for the future. I think that's a good sentence, right? So, okay, here's what I'm going to do now that I fully understand this. Two things. I want to rewrite LSP containers now that I have the knowledge I do about Lua and how these language servers can work. I want to consider these types of problems at a higher level as suggested here. I think what I'm going to do is create a new V2 issue, right? We're going to create a new V2 issue with all of the features we would like to implement and improve upon. Then we start from scratch and make this even better. The original code was really a prototype that we have leaned on, but now that we want to support multiple backends, architectures, volumes, etc., we need to solve these problems in clearer ways. I will close this ticket for now and reference it in the new V2 issue to consider for changes, or to consider changes. Thank you all for your continued support with this project. It is one I want to keep going, but think we have better... but think we have places we need to properly consider to better maintain for the future. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to close that out. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new issue. What do we call this? Yo, what up? Hello. What's up, guys? How's it going? I'm going to assign it to me. This is going to be an enhancement. Duplicate documentation. Okay, so what should we call this? Version 2.0 features. Right? Overview. Or version 2 changes? I don't know. Whatever. Overview. Want to rewrite LSP containers from scratch, considering all of the challenges we have faced over the past year working on the project. I can try. If not, you can go to our Discord if you want, my friend. Our Discord is literally designed to helping people. We have like help channels and you can like ask questions and stuff. So if it's a big one, you're more than welcome to just hop in our Discord and ask the question. I want to rewrite LSP containers from scratch, considering all of the challenges we have faced over the past year working on the project. This should not impact Docker files repo heavily, but may require some changes. features. So what are some of the features that we want to consider? Actually, I don't even know, dude. I honestly, I need to think about that. Repository heavily, but may require some changes. V2. Actually, we could say this is like version 1 release, but I don't have the laptop on me, but I just made an old HP laptop into a Linux machine, but I can't see/show Wi-Fi networks to join. That's probably because the laptop has the there's these like Bluetooth or these Broadcom, I think is what it is. I think it's the Broadcom wireless drivers. If my nerdy brain serves me correctly. You probably have to go out and download those drivers off the internet, friend. Yeah, I would imagine that's what it is you probably can't see any networks, or you don't even have networking set up. Yeah, I would. Yeah. There's like technology. There's a bunch of different channels you can ask in. So I would. Yeah, but there's a solid chance you just don't have the drivers you need installed. Version 2 tracker, is that what we should call it? I want to rewrite LSP containers from scratch, considering all the challenges we have faced over the past year working on the project. This should not impact Docker files heavily, but may require some changes. Yeah, you're welcome. There you go. Atoda can, yeah, we've got tons of people willing to help. I think we'll probably help you better if you're in the Discord though. What time is it? 11:33. Okay, we got a bit of time still. Like I said, chat, this was going to be a bit of a shorter stream, but not too shorter. That's what we'll call V2 updates. Yeah, this is what we're going to call it. Should we like create a project for this and stuff, chat? What do you think? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go to issues. We're going to go here. Can I pin this? How do I pin this again? I forget how to pin stuff. Oh my gosh. This is so annoying. I hate that this does this. I have no idea why this is doing this. There we go. Pin it. Yeah, no worries. No worries. All right, I'm going to create an issue here as well. Oh, you know what, though? I just realized. Okay, so we have cleaned up Docker files pretty decently. We have a few pull requests that are like open right now. I think we can close these out pretty easily. Here's what I want to do. I want to go through these tickets or these issues really quickly. And then I want to start breaking down... Sorry, I want to start breaking down because honestly, we're going to have to create the proposal here in lsbcontainers.nvim. And then we'll kind of have to like consider what is related to Docker files, because really Docker files supports the LSP containers main project. Interesting. Yeah, this is going to be super interesting. Dude, rewriting LSP containers. That's not something I expected to call today, but it's been a crazy couple days, so I guess why not, right? Why not? All right. Here's what I want to do, chat. Honestly, I'm a little tired still from the weekend. Let me get up really quickly, go to the restroom, heat up my coffee, and then when I get back, we're gonna go through the rest of these tickets. What I really want to do, chat, is I just want to get through all of this, right? We did a really good job of getting through all of these issues, and you'll notice here that like we have actually a really good kind of setup to some of the things that we want in our V2 updates, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, is I'm trying to go through all these tickets and stuff, and I'm just trying to be like, okay, what are the things that we want? What are the things we care about? What are the things we don't care about? Right? Like we know we want to support Docker. We know we want to support Podman. We know that we want to support Nix in the future, right? We know that we have this problem where we need to figure out if a user, needs to be able to access the file system. How do we solve that, right? And how can we solve that with programming better than, just trying to solve it with Docker itself, which is kind of what we've done. Cool. All right, so I'm going to take a super quick break. While I'm on my break, I'm going to run an ad as well. If you guys don't know, we do run ads during our breaks so that you guys don't miss anything. TLDR, it's just because we hate ads and don't want to have to make you guys go through them, but sometimes we have to. However, if you are new to our channel, please be sure to check out that little blurb about us. Again, remember, we do have a Discord full of wonderful people willing to help you out with any of your problems you need. Technical problems, I should say. Technical problems. I don't know if we could help you out with much else, but hey, it is a pretty great community nonetheless, so be sure to join and again, be a part of it if you'd like. We also have a YouTube. You guys are more than welcome to check out our YouTube. This is again something we're just starting to grow, and again, you can also check out our VODs and stuff like that, whether it be the main one or the archive. So give me a second, I will be right back, guys, and then when I get back, we're going to continue with this. I'm happy that we're going through LSP containers. Honestly, it needs to be rewritten. Like, honestly, if you guys don't know about LSP containers, you'd like to, again, read a little bit more. Here's LSP containers, right? And then that's the actual repository for the one that we're looking at now. Honestly, man, you look at the code, like I wouldn't have written it like this. I can be honest. I would not have written it like this. I think I would have done it differently. However, I made this project with the idea that we would grow it into something that the community could really manage, but something I think I neglected, and I think this is something important for anyone out there who wants to do like open source work. You still have to be like the principal engineer, and that's like basically the easiest way I can explain it. Is I kind of stopped principal engineering this, where I was just more like, all right, let the community take it and run with it, and I kind of wish I hadn't done that. Mostly because although it did allow it to grow into what it is now, I think this rewrite's required. I think it's required because I think there's other ways that we can solve these problems that are just in the Lua language rather than trying to, again, do it with Docker or something like that. So let me take my super quick break here. And then when I get back, we will, we'll jump into that stuff. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just taking a break. I'll be right back. Let me just take my break. Be right back. 1 second. Hi, I'm back. All right, let's get into this. Okay. What time is it? Okay, cool. Custom GoPLS config error loading workspace folder, September 18th. Thank you, Celia. I appreciate that. So this is on. I think maybe the next step is attempt to play with Neovim API for LSP to try and change the URL stuff to the container. I would be grateful for any feedback on the issue. What is this for? This is for, can you take a look at my config? Yeah, I'll take a look at, actually, you know what? Let me start all the way at the bottom.
Hello there.
Yo, what's up, Prime? How's it going, buddy? Welcome everybody from Prime Stream. How's it going, guys? Sorry, I'm looking at issues right now, so I'm a little distracted. Hello. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there.
How's your stream, bud? Shout out to the Primogen, by the way.
Hello there.
There we go.
Hello
Although
there.
I literally think most of you are already following him. Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Is that a Moonlander? It is a Moonlander, yeah.
Hello there.
It is indeed. Yo, Trash, what's up, dude? How's it going? Welcome, everybody. Sorry, I'm looking at a project we make here called LSP Containers. If you guys are Neovim users, you might have heard of it. My name is BG, by the way. I'm one of the other half of the Alt F4 stream.
Hello there.
Toad is hanging out in chat right now, but basically combined, we are the Alt F4 stream. We are a co-hosted stream. Thank you guys for being here. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out that little blurb right there. Basically, chat. Long story short, I work on a lot of different things here. I'm a senior software engineer. I work in DevOps. I've been doing it for a little while now. And I like to focus on a lot of DevOps stuff. Obviously, that's really what most of my current career focuses on. And so I'm a big Neovim user as well. And one of the problems when I first started using Neovim that I got into was installing language servers. I hated it. As a matter of fact, I it. And it was one of the things that actually was like in some ways limiting me with using it.
Hello there.
And so I decided to create a project around that whole issue. And there's a bunch of different ways of solving it. It's even gotten better. I dealt with it like 2 years ago, so I know up until now it's gotten a lot better. But basically, that's what sorry, I read your message, Billy. But basically, that's what LSP containers is. It essentially runs all of your language servers in containers for you. It looks a little bit like this, actually, if you want to see the flow chart, basically. Here's your Neovim. Here's your source code. And then here's LSP config. And basically what we do is we hook into LSP config so that when it starts that language server client, it goes directly to starting a container instead. So you don't have to install anything. Just runs a container, bim, bam, boom. If you guys are interested in the project, bam, there you go. There it is right there. But basically, I'm working on it right now. I want to rewrite it. So I've gotten to the point where I kind of like this was just like a fever dream. You know, it was something I kind of just went with one day and tried doing. And then it stuck. A lot of people got really interested in it. And it's one file, chat. Like if you look at this, it's just one really kind of gross Lua file. And so I want to make it better. And so we were going through a bunch of different issues today. There's two main repos that power LSP containers. There's our Docker files, which has all of our language servers in it. So if you go to Docker files, here's the repo. Thank you guys. Again, thank you for all the follows, by the way, all of our new wonderful friends. If you're interested in hanging out, by the way, feel free to check out our nerdy Discord. But yeah, Docker files basically is the Docker image side of it, where we have all of our images for each of our language servers. And you might be able to tell we have a large list here. It's not like we just support one or two things. We try and support a lot of different things. And so, yeah, this is the Docker files side of it. I was going through this and just like, man, you know, when you look at something and you're just like, dude, this needs to be rewritten. There's just not enough consideration into some of the things that I originally did that I need to rethink. Yo, Prime, dude, thank you for the 40 months, brother. I hope you're doing well. Congratulations, by the way, on the very successful not sponsored stream. I'm an idiot. Charity stream the other day. I stopped by for a minute. I only got to see it when you were gaming because I was out all day. So I think I caught it right when you were gaming. But congrats, dude. That's awesome. I love the fact that you're still doing that every year. I remember one of the first ones. But hello, everybody. Hello. Let me just look through chat here. Get rated. We got rated. We got rated hard. What is up? Aru, Vankerton, Hugh, Greg, 25 Uis. I don't know. What's up, Nightshade, dude? How's it going, buddy? Data, Tom, Prespor, Idan. What's up, dude? Mario plus, Leon. Hello. Glotchimo. What's up, dude? Nightmare. Is that a Moonlander? Yes, it is a Moonlander. Yep. What's up, everybody? There's so much discovery. There's so much discovery that has to be happy. That's why I don't believe in solving every problem first go around, Billy. So yeah, no, I mean, the thing that was challenging about this project is, you know, LSP Containers was made, I think like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. And again, the scope of installing language servers was like much more difficult than I think it is even now. But I still think it's a very challenging problem for a lot of people. Like, that's great. I have Neovim, but like, how do I actually get language support in Neovim? So yeah, that was part of it. But yeah, I agree. I made this, again, like I said, Chad, I made this one day on stream completely randomly. This again, like 206 Lua lines of Lua code. And I'm looking at it now, and there's a lot of stuff here. It's called Bottom, by the way, guys. BTM. There's a lot of stuff here. Let's talk about like what we want to do now, right? A couple of things that we've noticed, right? There's this scenario where we want to like build from multiple architectures, right? Where we want to start supporting M1, we want to start supporting, again, just AMD, other processor architectures, so that if you are developing on these things, you just download that specific flavor. And not only that, it would be great to know that in Lua code we can like detect the architecture, you know what I mean, and then just automatically give you that language server rather than like have to make you configure it. So that's like one of the things I want to do. Multi-version language support. So for example, I know a few of you out there are Rust nerds. Yeah, I know. And I know that there's this big thing about, Rust stable versus Rust nightly. It'd be great to be able to support both of those and actually have like a Rust, a variance of either of them. So that's another thing, as well as like Node. Node, for example, has like Node LTS. It has Node stable. It has, whatever. All of these languages that have all these other variances, we want to like support that kind of stuff. And even just on the Docker file side, there's a lot of language servers we still want to add that we haven't even gotten to yet. So yeah, that's the Docker file side. Now, if we look at the actual logic side of things, there's a lot of stuff we want to add here as well. Agnostic runtime support. So like, for example, right now, LSP containers really only supports Docker and Podman, right? But we've kind of noticed that like there's a lot of stuff that people use to run processes with, like Nix is one. Obviously, I use Nix now. And so we're there's this idea of like an agnostic runtime support where it basically says like, all right, well, let's make LSP containers just have runtimes. You pick which runtime you want, and then you just get that out of the box, right? And that could even mean in the future that other runtimes that are much more lightweight could be supported. So that's like something I really want to do. And then a bunch of other things around like Docker, making sure we can have like good customization with passing volume support and stuff like that. A big issue we found with running LSP container, or basically running LSPs in containers, is the user support, right? So say like you're using Go, right, or Rust. These can sometimes depend on the actual file system permissions to write. Like say it wants to like, I don't know, format a file for you or something like that. Well, if you know anything about containers, you know that once you're in a container, you have completely different permissions. And so this has been a big problem that we've like ran into and we've been trying to figure out how to solve, but we've been really trying to solve it from a Docker perspective of like writing scripts that like change the user ID and stuff like that when it starts. But it's not a good way of doing it. I'd rather figure out, again, if we can even do it with Lua or something like that. I'd much rather do that. And so that's a big problem right now that we just need to solve across the board before we can kind of really, I think, make it work. Still hasn't clicked for me though. Okay, Mr. Squeeza, come. All right, let's get together here. You and me. Don't worry about anyone else. You and me, buddy. All right. Think about this. You got Neovim, right? Okay. You open up Neovim. You open up a file. When you open up that file, a language server is started based off of the type of file type, right? So if you open up a JavaScript file, you're going to get a TS server, right? That's normally what you get, TS server, some type of JavaScript server. That's a process running on your computer, my friend, right? What does that mean? It means that, yes, your editor runs other processes outside of it. And when it runs those processes, it runs those things to support your editor, right? Like language servers. So in the scenario where you need to install a language server, they're all different, right? Rust Analyzer installs one way. TS Server installs with node packages. Like a bunch of these other ones install by building them and things like that. That's the challenge, right? It's not Neovim starting the process, right? It's not getting that support there. It's the basic challenge of making sure you have the binary for that process installed, right? There's a bunch of different things out there. Again, LSP install was one of them. I don't know what the new one is. Somebody in chat, I'm sure, can say it. I know there's like a new one. But yeah, the basic is what we do. And again, I'll go back to this chart here, is when you open up Neovim and you open up your code, right? LSP config and our plugin work side by side so that instead of it just running a binary on your computer, it runs an actual container on your computer with the language server inside of it. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. Isn't there already a Nix-powered LSP installer plugin? I mean, it's just called Nix. You don't really need it with Nix. I mean, I think one of the things that makes it nice that we're trying to do with LSP containers is it just kind of comes out of the box to where you don't have to add those to your Nix configuration, right? All the configurations would be within LSP containers. Neovim plugin automatically install layer background in manual intervention front, currently 78 and LSP config. Yeah, it's Nix. Yeah. Honestly, this is basically what we would be doing, but with us, you could use Docker, Podman, and Nix if you wanted, right? And that's the idea, right? Is like we want this like agnostic. We're realizing like that project just solves the Nix problem, but this one might mean that like some of them run on Nix, some of them run in Docker, some of them run in Podman, right? Like it could give you that flexibility, and that's why I'm saying like I want to rewrite this to where we have like agnostic runtime support. So it gives it more, I think it's just more value. You know what I mean? You probably would run everything with Nix if you wanted to, but again, you never know. Everybody, dude, I've seen so many different setups. It's crazy. Cock? Yeah, COC. Yeah, I've used COC, but I don't use it anymore. Did you follow software engineering in school? Currently second year. No, I didn't. I followed filmmaking in school. Yeah, I was actually a writer and director in LA. Found LSP containers a long time ago instead of containerize. I just containerized Neovim, LSP, DAP, works great. Just need the bind path, all that kind of stuff. Nice. I mean, you could definitely do that. Like, as a matter of fact, if you guys don't know what Nix is, which is a big thing that I've been really, making more content and like learning more about myself. But the TLDR is like with Nix, basically it knows how to build the thing you want, and then it'll build it for you locally and run it. So like I actually have the same thing with LSP containers. We have like a custom LSP containers Neovim. And so like if I run this, you'll see that this is actually different than my normal Neovim, which is on the right. And that's because, yeah, it's using Nix to like give me that actual build with that dev environment that we use to debug LSP containers, basically. Best way to start coding for an idiot. Best way to start coding for an idiot, just start coding. I mean, I'm an idiot, and that's what I do. So there you go. Just start coding, yeah. Hello, I find your stream more informative than the Primeagen. Don't tell. I don't think he would necessarily disagree with you that himself. We have much different types of content. I think we have much different types of content, which is, I'm gonna be fair, very purposeful. All of the streamers try and differentiate themselves, I think, in some way, shape, or form. It's just like, you gotta. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I would say he's probably a lot of ways much more entertaining than I am at times too. So there you go. Wait, were you in the film industry? I was. Yeah, I was. I was in it for, like 5 or 6 years in LA. Will you ever have a teaching segment now or in the future? In the future, yes. There's a plan that I haven't spoiled yet with our community. So if you guys are interested in DevOps, I do recommend joining our Discord, following on social, whatever. But there's going to be some stuff in the next month that I'm going to be announcing that's actually pretty massive. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Don't write exclamation mark commands. What? Thank you guys for the follows, by the way. I appreciate that. It's okay. Trash Jeb is about to clip it and put it on Twitter. That's fine. I don't care. Nice. Somebody got the command wall. Happens to the best of us, chat. Don't worry about it. That's what we like to call a rite of passage here at the Alta 4 stream. We are also excited. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, no, it's honestly been a long time coming. I'm very excited about it. Probably makes me feel like I'm flatlining. Jeez. I don't know if that's good. All right, let's look through these issues that we've got here. I want to clean this up because, like I said, we're going to rewrite LSP containers. It's time for something new. Agnostic runtime support. This one's going to say, solution for project packages. Since my dev environment runs into a Docker container, my LSP is unable to find project packages and had to install the LSP locally. This NVim package solves the second issue, but misses my solution for getting project packages. I've done a temporal solution at my config here. I think this issue affects language servers that use packages. I would like to start a discussion if these have... What? I'm not too sure what he means. What is the huge difference between Docker and Podman? So Docker basically just has like a bunch of other things that it uses to running containers, whereas Podman is just bare bones containers, really, and it uses the bare minimal... I think it's like it interacts directly with crun, right? Or whatever it's called. Container D, well, not container, whatever, I can't remember the name of it, but basically the main container runtime. Oh yeah, and it can run as a user. Yeah, it's daemonless. That's right. That's the other big thing is it's daemonless. So it has, that's what I meant. Sorry. Docker runs with a daemon by default. Podman doesn't. It just runs naturally using the, come on chat, help me out. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called.
Hello there.
Savory Sampson, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Prometheus? Not Prometheus. No, it definitely doesn't use Prometheus. I'm just kidding. I know that's not what you meant to do. So this one's solution for project packages. Since my, okay, so let me read this again. Since my dev environment runs in a Docker container, my LSP is, since my dev environment runs in a Docker container, my LSP is unable to find, I might need them to clarify this more. I've done my temporal solution here. Oh, wait, here we go. I'm using this project as a base image. Oh, okay. So yeah, I think, okay. So I believe I understand your problem. However, to fix this properly, it will require a rewrite to the main plugin itself. This is right. We'll say this. These changes are currently proposed to help solve this problem. And we'll actually say changes in the upcoming rewrite are currently proposed to help solve this problem around using more manageable volume support. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make Nix, or not Nix, geez, there's so many technologies, chat, good God. Make LSP containers have a much more user-friendly way of adding volumes when you need paths to things, essentially. I think that's what we're going to need to look at. Container D, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Again, I don't fully remember. Meaning his hyperactivity makes me feel like I'm intermediate. Oh, nice. Will companies start looking for DevOps with Nix experience? Okay, with regards to Nix, a couple things. First off, check out our YouTube. I made my first Nix video a little while ago on how to develop with Flakes. And I think that this video does do a decent job of kind of showing the benefits of just really what you would use Nix from a developer perspective, right? Wrapping your project with Nix, building it with Nix, distributing it with Nix and stuff like that. I think that is definitely possible. I think the thing that makes it very difficult is right now to use Nix fully, you really have to adopt a lot of it. And like a common scenario I mean by that is like, if you have a private package, right? If you have a private package of some sort and you need to use Nix to download that package, if it's in like PyPy, NPM, something like that, it's not going to work well because Nix really only uses Git. Nix likes to download source code and then compile that source code, right? So it only really works with like tars. It also works with like, again, source code, Git transports and stuff like that. When we start talking about like needing to authenticate with other systems, NPM, PyPy, stuff like that, Nix really does fall short because Nix is only really meant to work with one thing, which is Nix packages. And this is awesome because Nix packages has like 80,000. It covers most of what you would need. However, it will never cover the scenario when it's just your own software, right? And you're not going to add your own custom software to Nix packages. So what do? Right? And that's like something that's a massive blocker for me right now, even with using it, because I work in DevOps. Like I said, I work at a company called Hippo, and a big challenge we have is a lot of our libraries are private, whether they be an NPM, JFrog, whatever. And like, I would love for us to use Nix more at least, because you get out of the box like a nice dev shell, you get a nice way of building software, stuff like that. But essentially to solve that problem, you have to go up through the whole stack and you have to put everything into some equivalent of like a Nix packages, whether it be your own private one or something like that, for that dynamic to really work well. And so like you can't just like rewrite your whole stack just to go to Nix, right? So that's a downside. I think if anything, a lot of companies might start trying to figure out ways of using it, right? But they're only going to find very small levels of ways to doing it unless they adopted it early on, or they're going to adopt it. You know what I mean? Did you see DevBox? No, I haven't seen that. No. Remote learning solutions, I would imagine Nix will be used. Possible. Yeah, you can do remote builds with Nix, which is pretty awesome too, where you can actually tell Nix to build on a completely separate, system. I might give it a try for a personal dev env. I mean, like I said, check out the YouTube video. Check out our VODs as well as our second YouTube, which is our archives. They're not up yet, but I'll actually make it my priority to get them up today. But all of our VODs from the Nix Pills series are going to be up there as well. They're right now on Twitch, but I'm just saying I need to get them up on YouTube. But we've been going through a whole series of Nix and stuff. So it's Nix is really cool. Unfortunately, it's also just it's got a massive learning curve and it requires a lot of time. And I honestly, I'm spending a lot of my time to try and lessen that for you. I will include this PR in the proposal issue I create. Thank you for contributing. Okay, I'm gonna close this for now, right? All right, so that's fine. This is something we need to do. And actually here, let's do this. Let's say proposal v2 changes, right? We'll say labels, enhancement. Let's go back to here. Oh, well, actually v2 updates, right? v2 updates. And I'm just gonna copy this really quickly. And we're going to go over here and we're going to say overview. I want to rewrite LSP containers from scratch. We'll say bump. Sign it myself. Go here. And we're going to go back to here. We're going to pin this issue. Speaking of YouTube, recently watched your dev setup automation video. It was immensely helpful. Any videos coming to the main channel? Dude, so many. I'm going to be real with you. I have gone through... The past probably 6 months have been pretty difficult for me. Just not in the sense of terrible things happening, but just a lot going on. And I wanted to at least get out a video a month, but I unfortunately have just been so busy with stuff. We had TwitchCon last month. I've had just other things in the past as well, basically. And it slowed the process down, which honestly has bummed me out massively. Because especially with Nix and how excited I am about it, I want to be sharing it with you guys more. Videos are tough. They take time. And I like doing them myself. I really do. So I'm hoping to get at least 2 more out by the end of the year. That's my goal. So I would definitely say look out for one within the next couple weeks, at least. Hopefully 2. I want to get the Nix video out that I'm making right now, which is very much focused on getting you basically up and started very quickly with Nix, but also being very helpful. And then I also want to get my Nix.files video out as well, because I've had a ton of people ask me about that. So yeah, trust me, I feel you, my friend. We're trying to do as much as we can to get it out. So I really appreciate the patience. I really do. DevBox is a tool on top of Nix Package Manager, which will give you the opportunity to install Need Nix Package, nothing more. Pretty nice. That's dope. That's very cool. Yeah, no, I've never. Can you share a link for that? But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think I could show it to you, but there's a big list of stuff I want to do. All right, custom Go PLS, error loading workspace folders. Okay, so, oh, thank you. Perfect. I'm using Windows. See, this is weird stuff that we didn't really consider when we first started using LSP containers, or making it. I didn't expect somebody to use a Windows setup with no WSL. So Docker does use the WSL backend, but I'm not using WSL in the terminal. I want to run Go PLS in a container. I was able to get a couple of other LSPs to work, like Pyrite, some Nicolua, and Docker LS. But when I go to Go, yeah, and that's super, yeah. So the container stays running and communicating, but since there's no workspaces found, nothing upon launch, it says error. I tried opening a shell. Yeah, this is going to be tough, dude. Look at this. Because he's going through... Yeah, see, because he's going through... Dude, I don't even know how I would support this. Does anybody here use WSL? Or I guess... Wait, so does that mean they're using Neovim with no but I'm not
Hello
using
there.
WSL in the terminal? What? Wait, does that mean that they're using Neovim in like PowerShell? Like emulated? Is that what I'm getting from this? He can use it with git bash? Oh, okay. Ooh. Okay. It might be there's a way of my file path windows instead of Unix saves, but I'm not sure what to do. Later invoking LSPs gives no sessions. Is there anything you see wrong? Any input edit to. So I tried booting it live USB machine and put nvim to test me. I modified the code. It still complained that the path was not found. I remember mapping. Interesting. And so this is with Go? Workspace. Home Go PLS. Okay. I think maybe the next step is attempt the nvim AP. Yeah, so yeah, okay. Thank you. Oh, geez, here we go. Thank you for the information, I guess is the best way I can put it. The information. I use Neovim with Windows Terminal and PowerShell, works perfectly. Neovim has a Windows. Does it now? Okay. Interesting. What is emulating it? Or is it it's just native now? Is it native? Or is it actually emulated in some shape or form? Do you guys know? Thank you for the information. Looking at your problem, I have no easy way to reproduce it with regards to the technical requirements you have. It's native? Okay, nice. Thank you, guys. Thinking about your problem, however, with my limited experience with WSL, there will most likely need to be support in LSP containers to handle paths when inside and when not. And the reason for that is, I cannot spell the word experience. The reason for that is because WSL nests your C and other drives to a dedicated path. Also, it uses the 777 permissions to modify files, which is not great. Boy. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think I am currently in the process of creating a proposal for changes in the next version of LSP containers, and I think this is one we need to consider. Well, WT, so it shouldn't be VT sequences. Wait, so what? Wait, what now? What are we saying? Whoa, I only understood about half of what you just said. Well, Windows Terminal supports most of the sequences, so it shouldn't be. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, I got you. It took me a second because I read WT and then yeah. I got you now. Yeah. I got confused. My brain stopped working. I'm going to include this PR in the proposal and leave it open so we can continue working on both. Yeah, I think this needs to be left open. However, I honestly think this is something that's going to need to be solved with proposal V2. This one, I guess I should leave it open. Okay, agnostic runtime, go PLS delay and starting up. I said, unfortunately, I moved to NixOS a few weeks back, so I don't have the. No worries. We are actually supporting Nix as a backend in V2, so that totally works. I am also a NixOS user, so I understand the troubleshooting challenge. This repository does have a flake.nix now. You are welcome to debug with if you'd like. Yeah, we did actually add a flake.nix. So let's see here, flake.nix. If you'd like. Boop. I'll close this this for now, as I am getting reports of quicker start times. Thank you.
Hello there.
No worries. We're actually supporting Nix as a backend in V2, so that totally works. Oh, also, let me do this. This is the current PR. This is also the current PR for Nix integration with LSP containers. Oops. Cool. I'm going to close this then. Excuse me. Sorry, chat. Love closing tickets. GoPLS does not start in Podman. Okay, I haven't heard anything. Closing as I am getting reports. This is now working. Please reopen if still an issue. Thank you. Can we create a repo of Neovim pre-configured themes that use LSP containers? Can we create a repo of Neovim pre-configured themes that use LSP containers? Yeah, I mean, they're two different things, realistically, right? Like, the first problem is getting language servers set up with Neovim, and then the second one is your themes, I guess. But you could, yeah, you definitely could. Okay, I've been struggling to get Pyrite to play nice with something like main the Pyrite perhaps there is a nicer way to do so. I see there's existing Docker files regarding Python. Okay, yeah, so can we create repos for the repos of the repos, and then their repos with repos? So yeah, dude, totally. Yo, I heard you like repos, so I got you some repos for your repos, dog. Like, we good. What am I gonna say to this one, chat? There is currently a proposal issue open for fixing a lot of problems similar to this. I am going to include this PR in that issue for further tracking. Thank you for the help. Yeah, so I'm gonna close this for now. Get submodules. Yeah, dude. Just make me want to vomit. I'm sorry. I hate Git submodules. They're terrible. They really are bad. I've just had too many. Here's the real problem. I've just had too many people abuse them. That's the real issue. I've had too many people abuse submodules. They can be good if you know what you're doing, but 9 times out of 10, people don't, which is sad. That's another thing you'll learn about working in DevOps. If you end up going into DevOps, chat, you'll slowly start to realize that developers are dumb. Yeah, it's a burden.
Hello there.
Yeah, it's kind of true. It's like one of those scenarios where like you really want to give them things, but then you give them those things, then you just go like, you didn't deserve that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm well, partially. I'm partially kidding. I'm partially venting frustrations, but I'm also partially kidding. Got this error when adding in the YAML configuration and starting Neovim processing attempt a util. Looking at it seems like the line needs to be defined. Require not if yes, we should document this. Yes, we probably should document this. However, well, actually, dumb should be in the title. Dumb staff engineer. Dumb. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not, I don't actually think developers are dumb. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite parts of my job is like developers are my users in a lot of ways. Like developers are actually the people I support. Like I build tools for you guys basically. So it is actually really awesome. But it is funny when you build tools for developers. It's just a very different perspective. To say the least. We say that the same way about people who build tables with 160 columns. That's fair. So you're more of a CI/CD person? No, I'm in DevOps. The easiest way to put like my job is like normal engineers serve the user, right? They're building product for the user, right? My job is building product for the developers. I build infrastructure in a way that helps standardize it across the company, that also helps us move quickly, as well as have good practices around things. I, build pipelines and CI systems in ways that make it so that, again, it's standardized, reproducible, very well built for the company and the company's needs. But I'm not just focusing on one thing. Like I focus on essentially the high level company problems from a development perspective and how you solve them. That's really what DevOps should be doing at a company. It's just unfortunately that role is not always given due to need or multi hats, things like that. Do people contest your choices every day, dude? Every day. Yeah. Voice sounds strange, like a low bitrate distortion. Well, yeah, that shouldn't be us, man. That might be you. I'm sorry, Josh. Not too sure what that is, but should be fine. Unless like something just happened that I'm not aware of. Yeah, all the time. Yeah. I'm going to give you a pro tip right now, chat. Do you want to know how to shut up any developer really ever? Like when having an argument? Create a technical document. That's it. Just make a technical document. Put your thoughts down, make a technical document about it. And then if they ever try arguing about it, be like, dude, I made a document on it. Read it. It's in the docs. Yep. It's in the docs. Yep. That's how you win arguments. Seriously. Or they then have an opportunity to, respond to your technical design and have opinions on it and stuff like that, right? But yeah, documentation has become a massive part of my life for sure. Helping devs work faster and better. Yeah, literally. Yeah, literally. Guys, you're amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I gotta call it though. I have a one-on-one I gotta go to in the next 8 minutes. So yeah. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. We cover a lot of different stuff on this stream. Like I said, I work in DevOps. I'm a software engineer. I started out in front end. I became a back end engineer. I went to full stack, and now I'm in DevOps, where I really love doing what I do. We work on a couple different things on this stream. You might notice my lights changing, graphics happening, all that stuff. Well, that's something called Quirk. If you guys don't know what Quirk is, then you probably have not hung out in Prime stream that much either. Quirk is basically the thing that powers everything you see on our stream, as well as some of our wonderful fellow streamers stuff too. It's the platform we build and are hopefully going to one day turn into an actual product. We also work on other things like LSP containers, which is what you guys got to see today. There are days where I teach you guys about Nix and other things that I'm interested in. There are days where I just work on stuff, and you guys get to see my day-to-day work life. So whether you're here for any of that, sincerely, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I apologize, I got to run, but like I said, I got a one-on-one I got to get to. So again, if you are also new to our channel, please be sure to remember that we are a co-hosted channel by myself, BG, as well as my good friend Atoda. Basically, during the weekdays, you get to hang out with me and do all the stuff that we do. And then on the weekends, you actually get to hang out with Atoda, who's brand new to programming. He has a completely different experience with it. He's just learning a lot of stuff. So if you want to be able to experience a newer perspective to programming and stuff, I definitely recommend checking out the streams on the weekends. Remember, we also have our Discord. Our Discord is where our community lives in the off hours. One of the things that's very, I think, unique about our Discord compared to a lot of others is we really do try and make it so that it's helpful. First thing you can do when you come into our Discord is you can ask a question. If you have questions, you're more than welcome to lean on our community. We have mods that are also developers, engineers that are literally there to help you and answer questions. So feel free to be a part of our community if you'd like to be. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube. Again, this is something new. This is something that I'm slowly trying to get off the ground. But it does involve and have a lot of the things that I love and I'm interested in. Our first YouTube is basically the main YouTube channel that I'm putting specific content for YouTube, whether it be automating your CLI task, developing with Flakes, automating your dev setup, or again, all the other stuff. The other thing, which like I said, I will make sure we get updated tonight, is our archives. This is where all of our VODs go. So if you're ever curious about anything you might have missed, whether it be today, any of the Nick's Pills series, stuff like that, those will all be on that. So be sure to check out both of those channels. And then, yeah, social media too. I'm not really great at Twitter, but hey, we're getting there. So, appreciate it if you follow. All right, guys, I'm going to call it, though. Thank you so much, seriously, for hanging out with me today. Again, from the raids that we had earlier, whether if it was Prime, I think we got raided as well by somebody named Jen. Jen, thank you guys both for the raid. Again, Prime, love you, buddy. And everybody in your community, seriously, thank you guys. You've always been so sweet to me, so I really appreciate that. Is 8 gigabytes good for web development? No, 8 gigabytes is not good for any development. I'm going to be 100% clear on you. You need at least 16. You probably need 32. Sorry to have to do that, but you'll thank me later. Yeah, don't go with 8 gigs. You need at least 16. I would strongly suggest 32 gigabytes of RAM. Strongly. One thing you can skimp out on is processor. A processor can go very far. RAM does not go as far. Yeah, 32 gigs of RAM is going to last you a lot longer than 16 gigs or even 8 gigs. So just to consider. All right, let me see if I can find us somebody to raid here really quickly. If there's anybody new we can raid. Hang on, chat. Is there anybody doing DevOps by any chance? Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I haven't honestly, I don't know like anybody online right now, which is a bit of a bummer. Right, I walk in, you raid out. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I gotta get going. I literally, if I don't get off this stream in the next couple minutes, I'm gonna miss my stand-up. So, I'm just trying to figure out if is there like anybody that we know. Purple Elf? All right, cool. Yeah, let's go. We just raided Purple Elf the other day, but sure. Let's go raid Purple Elf. Let's go say hi to Purple Elf. Let's go give her a raid. Guys, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Really appreciate it. Be sure to check out all the links. Again, the Discord, the YouTube. Here you go. I'll do it one more time. Discord, YouTube, whatever. You got it. You got it. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you. Love you. I'll see you Wednesday for more Alta Force streams. Enjoy the raid. See you guys.